could be the master of your fate, you could be the captain of your soul, but you have to realize that life is coming from you and not at you, and that takes time.
At 22 years old, Timothée Chalamet became the youngest Best Actor nominee in 80 years. Directors like Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve and Luca Guadagnino didn't just want him for their films, they were willing to wait years for his schedule to open up. But here's what most people don't understand about Hollywood's golden boy.
The truth is, I'm really in pursuit of greatness. I know people don't usually talk like that, but I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats. I'm inspired by the greats here tonight.
His rise to the top wasn't about luck or good looks. It was about a specific approach to acting that most performers his age simply can't match. Because while other young actors are chasing Instagram followers and brand deals, Chalamet has been quietly mastering a craft that's making him the most sought-after talent of his generation.
Because he's amazing. He's such a brilliant actor, and it's so exciting to have a brilliant, I mean, this is one of the things that's so exciting about the cast, but he's a brilliant young actor who takes it really seriously and is committed to his craft.
And today, I want to show you exactly why every A-list director in Hollywood is lining up to work with this kid from New York. The theatre district kid who almost quit acting. Timothée Chalamet was born on December 27th, 1995 in Hell's Kitchen, right in the heart of Manhattan's theatre district. You'd think growing up surrounded by Broadway would inspire someone to pursue acting, but for young Timothée, it had the opposite effect. "This building truthfully made me scared of acting," he admitted years later. "It's a tough lifestyle and a lot of people aren't doing well. It's a hard way to make a living fantastically." His mother, Nicole Flender, was a Broadway dancer who performed in shows like Les Miserables and Fiddler on the Roof. His father, Marc Chalamet, was a French journalist and editor for UNICEF. This bilingual household gave Timothée something most American actors lack: complete fluency in French, which would later become crucial to his international appeal. But acting wasn't even his first dream. At 14, Timothée wanted to be a professional soccer player. He was obsessed with the sport, playing for his school team and dreaming of going pro. It wasn't until he auditioned for LaGuardia High School of Performing Arts that everything changed. Here's where the story gets interesting. Timothée was initially rejected from LaGuardia. Despite receiving the highest audition score the drama teacher had ever given, the school said no. But that teacher, Harry Schiffman, saw something special. "You're seeing a parade of them. 200 kids, and all of a sudden this guy shows up," Schiffman recalled. "It's unexpected."
I see 200 kids, and all of a sudden this guy shows up. It's unexpected.
"I heard that you gave him the highest score you've ever given anybody." "Yes, 5s. 5 is the top score you can get. I rarely gave a 5 in anything."
I heard that you gave him the highest score
Yes.
you've ever given anybody.
Yes, 5s.
5 is the
Across the
top
board.
score you can get.
I rarely gave a 5 in anything.
Schiffman fought for Timothée, convincing the principal to reverse the decision. That intervention changed everything, because once Timothée got into LaGuardia, he didn't just study acting, he became obsessed with it. The method behind the madness. What separates Timothée from other young actors isn't just talent. It's his approach to preparation. While most performers his age rely on natural charisma, Timothée treats every role like a masterclass in human psychology. Take his breakout performance in Call Me By Your Name. Director Luca Guadagnino didn't just cast him because he looked the part. He cast him because Timothée understood something most 21-year-old actors miss: that great performances come from emotional truth, not just good looks. "I was struggling with identity," Timothée admitted about that period. "I was struggling with your sense of self-respect or your sense of drive, or where you want to be pales in comparison to where you are." That personal struggle became the foundation of his performance as Elio. Instead of acting like someone experiencing first love, he channeled his own confusion and vulnerability. The result was a performance so raw and authentic that it earned him an Oscar nomination at 22. But here's what most people don't know about that performance. Timothée spent months preparing, not just by reading the script, but by studying the psychology of adolescence. He researched how teenagers process complex emotions, how they hide their feelings, and how they express desire when they don't fully understand it themselves. This level of preparation became his signature. For The King, where he plays Henry V, Timothée didn't just learn his lines. He studied medieval history, read Shakespeare's original plays, and worked with dialect coaches to perfect the accent. He understood that playing a king isn't about wearing a crown, It's about embodying the weight of absolute power. The transformation artist. What makes directors fight to work with Timothée isn't just his dramatic range, it's his ability to completely transform for each role while maintaining his essential humanity. Look at the progression from Call Me By Your Name to Dune. In the first film, he's vulnerable, almost fragile, a teenager discovering his sexuality in the Italian countryside. In Dune, he's Paul Atreides, a young man destined to become a messianic leader. These aren't just different characters. They're completely different physical and emotional states. Denis Villeneuve, who directed Dune, explained why he chose Timothée over hundreds of other young actors. Paul is a character that is both vulnerable and strong. He needs to have the charisma of a future leader, but also the sensitivity of someone who's been thrust into circumstances beyond his control. Timothée has both qualities naturally, but it's not natural. It's crafted. For Dune, Timothée spent months working with movement coaches to change his posture and gait. Paul Atreides moves differently than Elio from Call Me By Your Name. He carries himself with the unconscious authority of nobility, even when he's afraid. This attention to physical transformation extends to every role. In Little Women, he's Laurie, charming, impulsive, slightly reckless. His movements are loose and energetic, reflecting a character who hasn't yet learned to control his emotions. In The French Dispatch, working with Wes Anderson, he adapts to Anderson's precise, almost mechanical directing style while still bringing emotional depth to his character. The vulnerability factor. Here's what most young actors get wrong about screen presence. They think they need to be invulnerable to be compelling. Timothée understood the opposite. His greatest strength is his willingness to be completely vulnerable on camera. Watch the final scene of Call Me By Your Name. Timothée sits by a fireplace, tears streaming down his face, processing the end of his first real love affair. Most actors would try to make this moment prettier, to cry in a way that still looks attractive. Timothée doesn't care how he looks. He cares about emotional truth. The magic of this scene is how he says his lines like he cares about his client, observed one industry veteran. He took me through beat by beat, the lowering of the voice, how you manipulate somebody. He was so determined to suck every bit of information. This vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. It takes incredible confidence to be that exposed on camera, knowing millions of people will see your most intimate moments. But that's exactly what draws directors to him. They know he'll go to emotional places that other actors won't. Greta Gerwig, who directed him in Lady Bird, put it perfectly. Timothée has this quality where he can be completely present in a moment of pain or joy or confusion. He doesn't try to control how the audience sees him. He just exists in the truth of the character, the intellectual approach. What separates Timothée from typical Hollywood heartthrobs is his intellectual approach to acting. He doesn't just memorize lines, he studies the entire world of each character. For Dune, he read all 6 of Frank Herbert's original novels, not just the first one that the movie adapts. He studied the political and ecological themes that drive the story. He understood that Paul Atreides isn't just a hero. He's a tragic figure whose prescient abilities trap him in a future he can see but cannot change. I give 170% in everything I'm doing, Timothée explained. No ifs, ands or buts. I'm giving it my all, something like the Dylan Project. These aren't watered-down experiences. I'm going Daniel Day-Lewis on all of them. I'm not saying method, but I'm saying in level of commitment. That Dylan Project he's referring to is A Complete Unknown, where he plays Bob Dylan. For this role, Timothée spent 5 years preparing. He learned to play guitar and harmonica. He studied Dylan's vocal patterns and speech rhythms. He insisted on performing all the songs live on set rather than lip-syncing to recordings. This level of preparation isn't just professional dedication, it's artistic obsession. Timothée approaches each role like a scholar approaches a dissertation. He wants to understand not just what his character does, but why they do it, how they think, and what drives their deepest motivations, the generational bridge. Here's something most people miss about Timothée's appeal to directors. He's a bridge between old Hollywood craftsmanship and new Hollywood accessibility. He has the technical skills and work ethic of actors from previous generations, but he also understands how to connect with contemporary audiences. Christopher Nolan cast him in Interstellar when he was just 19, recognizing something special. There's a quality about Timothée that's both timeless and completely modern, Nolan observed. He can play characters from any era because he understands the fundamental human emotions that don't change. This versatility is why directors across all genres want to work with him. Luca Guadagnino uses him for intimate character studies. Denis Villeneuve casts him in epic science fiction. Wes Anderson employs him in stylized comedies. Each director gets a completely different performance, but all of them get the same level of commitment and intelligence. The risk taker. What really sets Timothée apart is his willingness to take creative risks that other young actors avoid. After Call Me By Your Name made him a star, he could have easily chosen safe commercial projects. Instead, he chose Beautiful Boy, a devastating drama about drug addiction that required him to portray a character at his absolute lowest point. For us as actors, we sort of pushed the boundaries as much as we possibly could, he explained about that role. Playing a drug addict isn't glamorous or easy. It requires an actor to find humanity in someone who's lost almost everything. But Timothée understood that these difficult roles are what separate great actors from movie stars. The same risk-taking led him to The King, where he had to carry an entire war epic on his shoulders, and Dune, where he had to anchor a massive science fiction franchise. These aren't roles for actors who want to play it safe. They're roles for actors who want to prove they can handle anything, the collaborative spirit. Directors don't just want to work with Timothée because of his individual talent. They want to work with him because he makes everyone around him better. He's known for being completely prepared, endlessly curious, and genuinely collaborative. Margot Robbie, who worked with him in Little Women, described his approach. He comes to set with so many ideas, but he's also completely open to trying new things. He's not precious about his performance. He wants to find the best version of every scene, even if that means changing what he's prepared. This collaborative spirit extends to his relationships with directors. He doesn't just take direction, he engages with it intellectually. He asks questions about character motivation, story themes, and directorial vision. He wants to understand not just what he's supposed to do, but why the director wants him to do it. Paul Thomas Anderson, who's worked with some of the greatest actors of all time, put it simply, Timothée is an actor's actor. He loves the craft, he respects the process, and he makes everyone around him want to do their best work. The future of cinema. At just 29 years old, Timothée Chalamet has already worked with more legendary directors than most actors manage in entire careers. But what's really remarkable is that he's not slowing down. He's accelerating. His upcoming projects include the Bob Dylan biopic, a potential Dune sequel, and collaborations with directors who've been trying to work with him for years. But more importantly, he's becoming the kind of actor that directors write roles specifically for. I'm as inspired by Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, and Viola Davis as I am by Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps, he said in his Oscar nomination speech, and I want to be up there. That ambition, combined with his technical skill and emotional intelligence, is why every director in Hollywood wants to work with him. He's not just another young actor trying to become famous. He's an artist trying to create something lasting. In an industry obsessed with franchise films and social media followings, Timothée Chalamet represents something increasingly rare, pure dedication to the craft of acting. And that's exactly why, no matter how busy he gets, directors will keep fighting for the chance to work with him. We are committed to releasing 2 videos a week. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more film lore. But Timothée's meteoric rise is just one example of how Hollywood's new generation is changing the game. Because what I'm about to show you next will reveal the dark side of child stardom that destroyed careers before they even began, and how one young actor's tragic downfall became a cautionary tale that still haunts the industry today.